All right. Welcome to the I'm Not Cool Enough podcast. Just kidding. Actually, due to naming, we actually got a name, the Let's Rock Reviews. So we maybe one day can move on from the Foo Fighters after the concert because there's only so much you can say about one band. But for now, it is the Foo Fighters. It's all the Foo Fighters, and that's all we're going to talk about. Today, we got One by One, the Foo Fighters' fourth album. Kurt, why don't you tell us what we're doing, what we got, and the format we're looking at today?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you haven't heard our previous podcast for There's Nothing Left to Lose, we're reviewing all of the Foo Fighters albums.
Great
Uh,
album.
oh, yeah. um, yeah, we talk kind of the podcast format for those first joining us. We kind of like to, go back and talk about the history of the album, what's going on with the band at the time. Then we kind of dissect the songs, just, give our reviews and little fun facts that, maybe you haven't heard. Um, Kyle and I will each have a guest reviewer joining us. So get ready for that. And yeah, just any final words, last review. So yeah, and if you were with us for the previous podcast, you might have heard Kyle start us off by saying, "Are You Brothers Podcast?" Um, for those of you that don't know us, a lot of people in high school thought we were brothers, so it was just kind of a inside joke there. We have also started a YouTube channel, Let's Rock Reviews channel. So if you really did want to know if we look like brothers, now's your chance to find out. Um, but yeah, that's our typical format. We kind of keep it loose, we kind of just go with the flow, but we do try to stick with that, kind of like the history, and then go into the songs as well. So if there's one part you do want to listen to or want to skip over, feel free to do that. But yeah, this is our second podcast. Um, I'm already feeling a little more loose this time. The first one, I got a little, I don't know, I felt a little butterflies, pressing that record button for the first time. I think you know, said an album name for one of the songs and I was mispronouncing names. So uh, I think Nate Mendel, I said, rather than just Nate Mendel. So Nate, if you are listening, if you would like to join our podcast sometime, I'd like to offer an in-person apology and feel free to join us. So
Absolutely.
yeah. No, but we're just two guys just talking about music, and yeah, right now talking about the Foo Fighters leading up to the Everything or Nothing at All tour. Begins in July. We'll be going in August in the show in LA. So
And we'll definitely be doing something around that, probably on the YouTube channel, and have a little podcast right before, probably right after the show. Maybe talk about the show, analyze it a little bit. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We
yeah,
got
yeah.
Foo Fighters one by one today. One thing that I love about the Foo Fighters is all their titles generally mean something, especially the title of the album. Dave Grohl likes to put meanings in there. Maybe not with all the songs, as we learned last album from Learn to Fly, but definitely one by one, taking it one step at a time. Um, and which is kind of interesting, especially for this album, because if you look at it from a production perspective, it was a hot mess. Uh,
Oh
uh,
yeah. Yeah.
fighting with the production company, being dissatisfied with the results. Um, it's so interesting that you go from recording albums in a basement to you would think generally that finally going to an actual studio would be an upgrade, and they would be excited about it, and they'd be able to do all these extra things. But it turns out to be quite the opposite. They're dissatisfied with it. It sounds too clean for what they're going for, and they overall, for all the money they spent in the album on the album, they used one of the songs, right?
Yeah. One from the original demos was the only one that they kept. All others were either like re-recorded or just brand new songs. So
And I think
um
they only kept that one because it had oh, what's his name? I can't.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna talk
Princess.
about that.
It had the Princess guy in it, and yeah. So
Oh yeah. Well, what's kind of
Interesting stuff.
yeah, what's kind of crazy as I was reading about like the history of like, all the craziness that was going on with the band, and um it it was this album where, there were the four main core guys that, to this day are still in the band. You hear about all this adversity the band's going through, and you would think like, oh man, I'm sure like, one or two band members probably left, but no, like they, went through their hard times, but this is the core group that's still around today. Well, I mean, besides Taylor Hawkins passing away,
R.I.P. Yeah.
um, but
But he
I
would
mean,
still be with the band if he had not. He
oh,
was with
for
the band
sure.
till his passing, of
Yeah.
course.
And later podcasts will find out that, some other members join down the road, but this is the core group right here. Um, yeah, Chris Shiflett, he joined the band touring for There's Nothing Left to Lose, but this is his first time like in the studio with the band. So, I mean, the fact that, there was all this, fighting and everything, it's interesting to hear. And yeah, Kyle, you mentioned that all the money they put into it, they spent 4 months and they spent over $1 million.
Yeah, $1 million to do
And
this, and they
then,
just scrapped it.
yeah, they're just like, nope, we're not using this. It's like, man, I wish I had that much money to be like, nah, we're good. $1 million, nah. But
I know, right? Now, we spent $1 million recording this podcast, but we're just gonna scrap it.
yeah,
It's aside from the $1 million, a lot of other just stuff was happening around that time. Um, Taylor Hawkins OD'd on heroin at one point, and
yeah,
it had to take some time off, and then like for a little bit, it looked like and it seemed like that was it. It was going to be over. There was so much fighting, so much stuff, and was it Coachella they were going to?
yeah, yeah,
So they were playing. They went to
2002.
go play. Yeah, they went to go play at Coachella, and maybe we're moving a little too fast here, but they went to go play at Coachella, and in an interview, Dave Grohl said like, hey, this could be it. This could be our last performance. And even when they
Yeah,
got together at Coachella, they were fighting so much with each other. There was arguments and this and that, you know. But they're like, hey, you know what? We owe it to everyone. Let's go play the show. And they had so much fun at the show that they're like, you know what? Let's keep it going.
yeah. Well, and not only, I mean, before Coachella, there's talk about like, they might be breaking up. Like signs were pointing like, oh, they have moved on. Like each of them went on and did their own things. Dave Grohl, a few months back, he actually joined Queens of the Stone Age,
Yeah, I want
recorded
to
some of
talk
the
about that a
drumming.
little bit.
Yeah. um, and I mean, he was for the album Songs for the Deaf. And if you're listening to this, there's a good chance you know the song No One Knows. That's the song, right?
Yeah. Oh
Dun,
yeah.
dun, dun, dun. I mean, that's just a classic. Even if you, oh yeah, even if you're not a big Queens of the Stone Age fan, I mean, like that song, it's been on the radio and it's a good
So
song.
good. Yeah,
Uh,
I gotta admit, when that song first came out, I did not know that Dave Grohl was the drummer. And I
yeah,
saw the face and I was like it was one of I like did like a triple take, quadruple take. I was like, wait, is that Dave Grohl? I was like, I
who
love
is
this
that?
band so much more now.
It, is that guy brothers with Dave Grohl?
It looks a lot like Dave Grohl.
Are you
Always
brother?
the top comments in the Nirvana in the Foo Fighters videos is on YouTube is always, hey, that looks like the drummer from Nirvana.
Yeah. Joined a
But yeah,
band.
and then who else? He went back to Me First in the Gimme Gimmes.
Oh yeah, Shiflett.
Yeah, Shiflett went back for Me First in the Gimme Gimmes. Hawkins even went started to play with the James Addiction bassist, and just everyone went their own way. Everyone went their
Yeah,
separate ways.
yeah,
And this was before. This is in like before the summer, before Coachella. So like,
yeah,
yeah, all signs, like you said, pointing to this could be it. Maybe 3 albums, or maybe we'll release something and then we'll call it a day.
yeah.
Close
I
the
mean,
chapter.
yeah, Dave Grohl, he like recorded the drumming, but I mean, it was more just like, just for the recording. But then later on, he did like, hey, I'm going on tour with them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, that would be like a big, like, what? If I was in the band.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I something, where was that? But I mean, it was hard on Hawkins, I know, because, he was recovering from his overdose and still working through his issues, and, just felt like Dave was like abandoning him.
Yeah.
He talked about, he's like, I just went through this awful trauma, and I was supposed to be happy. Dave was having such a good time with Queens of the Stone Age, but he says
How could you
he
not?
wasn't, right?
Those
Yeah.
are some of the most awesome and fun songs to listen to.
Yeah.
I know we're not talking about Queens of the Stone Age. This is a Foo Fighters podcast, but
Yeah.
man, it's such a good album.
Yeah, history leading up
it's
to
part of the history for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, Dave Grohl even feared that you mentioned the group's appearance at Coachella might be its last show forever. It's just kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah. So real quick, a timeline. Late 2001, they start recording. Early 2002, they moved to LA to record the rest of the album in the studio. By I don't know, a month, 2 months later, we're still early 2002. It's a mess. They're dissatisfied. They talk to the producer. The producer says this doesn't feel like Foo Fighters. One of the things I want to mention before I forget, Dave Grohl had mentioned how excited he was and how because he never felt like this was going to be like a rock performance group and they would get up in front of huge audiences and rock out. And so one of the reasons One by One exists, not the album itself, but the songs on the album exist, is because they wrote them to be songs that they could play on stage.
Yeah.
I read that somewhere. Songs that they could play on stage and rock out to, and they just felt like after the initial recordings that they kind of missed the mark. They didn't like it because it was too clean almost, which is kind of funny to me. Like,
yeah,
it seems like in some cases you would want a clean recording, but that's not Foo Fighters. That's not how they got famous. That's not how they built their brand. The first 3 albums wasn't with clean recordings and studio productions. It was recording in a basement somewhere on the East Coast and being happy with that and then releasing that. And so I think they were trying to, and this is me, this is where I start interpreting things. It seems like to me they were trying to be something they weren't, and that's a lot where the conflict came about. Was them trying to do something that wasn't Foo Fighters. And you can even feel that too with Dave Grohl over the years not being satisfied. It's taken him 4 studio albums to put his entire band to recording and touring band together. Because he Shiflett was, he didn't play on the album. He toured with him for sure, but he didn't play on the album. Right. So it's taken him this long to get his perfect band together. And now he's like, wait a minute, I think we're stepping away from what I'm trying to do, what we were trying to do.
Yeah. Well, I think about like, the fact that they weren't satisfied with the songs in their first demos, it's surprising, but not surprising. Surprising the quantity wise, because they recorded a reported 29 songs, and you would think like great musicians like them, it's like you think they could put together like 10, that are like, hey, these are decent, we could use
talking about
these.
the guy who pumps out songs in a day or so,
Right. Well, and one of those songs of the 29 is called The One, which appeared in the movie Orange County. I don't know if you know that.
Yes, I saw that. I was like, oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Of course, Jack Black, who we will
talk
about when we talk about the songs later.
Yeah. But also, I also wasn't surprised though, because last podcast we talked about, there's nothing left to lose, how, after recording The Color and the Shape, it talked about that was kind of hard with recording, but in There's Nothing Left to Lose, they just like recorded it in his basement. It was like, stress free. They really enjoyed that. So the fact that they were trying to like jump back into like, hey, let's make this like all professional, I can see why, they weren't pleased with their demos. So yeah, it's interesting. It's like quantity wise, surprising. It wasn't, to their liking, but not a surprise when it's like, well, they changed the formula for making an album. Of course they're not gonna love it the same like the previous album. So
yeah, I'm not a recording artist. I don't know how that works, but
I am. Just joking.
I imagine that it's kind of difficult. When you play a song as a band, you rock out. You have that energy, and that I have done. I have played music with a band, and there's such an amazing feeling when you play music and you're just rocking out with people. But to sit there and record is probably a different feeling, and they're used to playing all together and then recording that, and then to go to like individual type stuff. I'm sure that was part of the disconnect as well, not being able to do it. So we moved to April 2002, and then in April they scrap it all and and that's when the break comes. Everyone goes back to their own thing, and I love that Dave Grohl's about to go on tour because he already committed to this tour with Queens of the Stone Age, and he's like, you know what, I got 2 weeks. And this is where the Foo Fighters come out. It clutch. It's like, okay, we got a limited amount of time. Let's record an album in 2 weeks. And they did it. And that's how we got One by One. They go back to Virginia. They're like, hey, let's do this. I'm about to leave on tour to go tour with a wonderful, an awesome band and a great album. But again, this is Foo Fighters. 2 weeks, they go back to the basement and they pump out a great rock album that later won awards.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think this one, like 2 Grammys. We talked about the Grammys one for There's Nothing Left to Lose. Won them for this album as well.
That one won greatest rock performance, and this was the One by One actually won the greatest rock album of the year.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
We should probably know the exact details if we're talking about it, but here we are. Yeah. There's a quote I saw Dave say, it taught me the best way to do it is, go into the studio without the intention of making an album.
Yeah,
just go in the studio and jam. That's kind of what happened, and it really saved us. It's like, don't treat it like a job. It's like, we're rock stars. Let's just go rock out.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to say. You said it so much better in 5 seconds than I could in 5 minutes. Let's just go rock out. That's all it was. Like they're trying too hard. I don't know if that's fair to say. Maybe that's completely unfair, but it seemed with with the rock album, you're trying too hard. Just go back to your basement and do you. Yeah. Don't do what you think needs to be done to make the great studio album. Go do what you've done, what made the Foo Fighters great. Stick with, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Go do what you do. And that's how we got this album. That's how they won best album of the year or rock album of the year, is by just doing what they did.
Yeah. I like the last part you were saying. It's like maybe not trying too hard, but trying to be something different.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know.
Yes, it was best rock album.
They really overcame a lot, and I think that time away, Dave really, said it made him realize how much he did value, his band members. So glad they stuck it out.
Yeah, distance makes the heart grow fonder. Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
And and you know, that's a cheesy quote, but you know, it does apply here. Like they went and did their own thing, and I think at the back of their mind, they're like, "Hey, we're not done yet." Like,
Yeah.
and I don't think they realized it, and maybe they did. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking, but you know, outsider's perspective, I don't think they realized it till they got on the stage at Coachella and saw how much people loved them individually, but even more as a group. Like, dude, we love the freaking Foo Fighters. Please, like, keep doing this.
Yeah.
They had a great show. The crowd was into it. They were into it, and they're like, you know what? We're not done. We got to keep doing this. And that's you know, uh, one great rock show can change the world.
You got that right.
We should have a counter. How many times are they going to quote School of Rock in this?
Hey, if it gets Jack Black's attention, you
Oh,
know,
I hope
he recognizes us, I'll keep doing them all day.
I've seen Jack Black reply to so many great videos on YouTube. It's so funny. Oh man, I love that guy. He's great.
Oh, I should probably add in here. I think I told you already, but my son Andrew, for those listening, 8 years old, he's already thinking about his Halloween costume, and he's like, "I want to be Jack Black for Halloween."
Yes, that's so good.
Not a specific character of his, just Jack Black.
Just Jack Black.
It's like, that is awesome.
That's so good, man. Oh,
he's
that's funny.
Yeah, he's been big into, you know, the Mario movie where Jack Black does Bowser, and we've been watching Kung Fu Panda. So,
dude, the new one just came out.
That's right, today. Yeah.
Did you guys go see it?
No,
I haven't either.
We'll save that for another podcast.
Yeah. Another discussion. Back to the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
But
anyway,
I think that's all I have for the history, though.
Yeah, here we are with an album, Rocky Road. Like, I mean, there's been issues with the other albums for sure, ups and downs, but nothing like this one.
No.
In terms of like overcoming the odds and getting back together and it's all just been like, hey, I don't really like this guy, or this isn't working out, or that. But yeah, you know, sometimes you need that break for it to come full circle, and it worked in a great way. And because it worked in a great way, let's break down the songs.
Let's do it.
Unless you have anything else to say about the history, but that was pretty much it for me.
Yeah. No,
if you said anything more about the history, I'd probably start talking about Queens of the Stone Age.
Right. Yeah. Or Kung Fu Panda, you know.
Or Kung Fu Panda. Yeah. All right. So, greatest rock album of 2004. First song on it. I gotta say, it is on my Mount Rushmore of Foo Fighters songs.
Oh man. It's a bold statement right there.
It is a bold statement. And I know structurally and song wise, there are so many great songs, but for me, you know, when you talk about Mount Rushmore, a lot of it is opinion. But for me, man, I just love this song so much. Yeah. It is such a good song.
No, I wouldn't fight you, even if we're trying to prove Mount Rushmore on facts. I mean, this is a big song, so no argument for me.
Yeah, it's I don't know, maybe it's the way it starts and then just comes in like right at that key point after the intro and just hits really hard. It's nice. It's nice the way it sounds.
Oh yeah. This reminds me of James Corden, Karaoke Carpool. Am I pronouncing his last name? This is the first song they do.
That's so good.
And I'll say he knows the Foo Fighters songs. He was like rocking out to that. I was like, nice. That's pretty good.
That's funny.
Yeah. The music video for this too. Dave talks about he wanted to sort of show everybody like this is what it's like when we play live, as opposed to the comedic videos the band has done before. But
Yeah, because that's what this album was all about too.
yeah, I will say I do prefer the comedic videos, Learn to Fly and Everlong, but
Well, just wait till we talk about the next video. It's got Jack Black in it. Talk about comedy.
Yeah. And it's interesting because this video, it was filmed, you see the sign for it, the Forum in Inglewood, California, near LA.
Yes.
But it's funny because apparently the video was actually shot inside Bakersfield's Mechanics Bank Arena, which was called Centennial Garden at the time.
Nice.
Like, hey, we're at the Forum. Not really though. We're here.
Not really though. Just kind of.
Yeah, apparently Grohl revealed that he had dreams about still playing in Nirvana, and there was an empty arena waiting for them to play. So
isn't that crazy?
Kind of a connection there. But,
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Just a great song. I could say a lot about this song, but without like listening to it, it's just the way it hits, and it starts out, the guitar is so good in the beginning, and then it just stays energetic throughout.
Yeah, definitely a good one.
With that, hold on though, because I know we're saving the guest reviews, but this guest review reviewed specifically this song.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So before we move on to this next song, I have to play my guest review. Let me make sure my volume's on and I'm good.
I love it.
I apologize to everyone keeping score at home. No, I'm just kidding. Because the recording of it, the sound quality. Sorry, I don't even know what I'm saying. The sound quality might not be that good, but structurally the review is pretty epic.
Nice.
Let me get my volume up here.
Yeah, just a heads up to everyone. We're recording these late at night where, our kids are already in bed, or at least my son is.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Guest review about All My Life. Faye, what do you think about the song All My Life by the Foo Fighters?
I like that it starts out like soft, then hard, soft again, then hard, and it makes me dance. And nice. It's hard, and it's rocking out, and it feels like it's jazz. Go Fighters!
Thank you, Faye. All right, that is my daughter Faye. Talking about how the song hits hard and rocks out, and then for some reason, I think it reminds her she's a dancer, so it reminds her of jazz dancing.
That was so good. Yes. I love it.
Awesome.
Oh man, I feel like I can't say anything else about it, but
mic drop, walk away. No.
Yes. I saw an interesting story, just like background of the song as well. And I don't know if you remember the magazine Kerrang. Kerrang. When I saw this online, I was like, I feel like I remember that name. Anyway, in it, Dave was saying like it was originally an instrumental, and it went through different versions. At first, it was really dissonant and noisy. The middle section sounded like Wipeout. It was just nuts. We recorded the instrumental, and I had no idea how I was going to sing it. Again, that was another one that our manager said, that's the song. And we said, really? You think that's the one people will like? And yeah, I found that interesting because it's like, even the Foo Fighters are like, wait, what? That's a song you want us to put on an album? And, not only did it make the album, that's, one of their biggest hits.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Found that interesting. But yeah, I agree with you. It's a good song. It didn't make my Mount Rushmore, but, it's a solid song. So no argument for me.
It very much is. Next song.
On to the next one. Low.
All right. Low. What a great song. I know I say that about all the songs because they're all great songs. But not all these songs are great songs. They're all good songs. They're not all great songs. Low, it's a great song.
Oh man, it's just hard and heavy from the start.
Yeah.
This
I mean, it's arguably one of their heavier songs overall.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This song. Go ahead. I feel like I cut you off there. Oh no. Okay. Anyway.
No, I would. Nope, not at all. Go for it.
This is more opinion, not a specific interview with Dave Grohl. But this song, I feel like they wrote because back in 1998, they were asked to fill in at Ozfest. We discussed that in the Color and the Shape album. It's almost like they felt a little, or no, they did mention they felt a little unsure if they belonged there, with all those heavy metal bands. So in my opinion, it was like they thought, okay, just in case they ask us to play at Ozfest again, we have this really heavy song we can play and we will fit in perfectly. So
yes.
But yeah, it's not your typical Foo Fighter song.
Definitely not.
I think Dave even mentioned, they felt honored to be invited. Also, yeah, if you haven't read the book Storytellers by Dave Grohl, definitely one to check out.
Oh yeah, great book.
They felt honored to be invited, but they did feel a little out of place. Their previous album, they were, oh nice, you got the book. They're the guys that wrote Learn to Fly. I think he even mentioned, some of us, we had hair above our collars. They weren't the long hair metal guys. Also, they were to play after Pantera, and
oh, dude.
Yeah, that's a tall task to go after there. So, but yeah, heavy song right from the start. Maybe if you're more of just a casual Foo Fighters fan, may not be your cup of tea, but for those that like to rock, this is a song that you'll want to check out.
And I love to rock. But I will say this. Sorry, give me 1 second. I will say this about the video, because I know we're not going to go too deep into it. MTV banned the video back in the day. But I will say that I do love that Jack Black is once again featured.
Oh,
and it was originally just Jack Black. It was originally going to be just Jack Black in the video, but I don't know if it was the producer or the director of the video was like, you know what, Dave Grohl, you got to be in this with him, and so they put Dave Grohl in the video as well. But I don't know how different it would have been with just Jack Black, but it was. I'm glad that I just love seeing Dave Grohl and Jack Black together. It just makes me happy.
Oh yeah, I love all the different collaborations they do.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, they go both ways. Like Dave Grohl, he's collabed with Jack Black and Tenacious D projects, so that's always fun to see.
Yeah, for sure.
So this was considered one of their singles, but I don't really remember hearing the song too much. Like unless you had the album growing up, like I don't really remember hearing it too much, like on the radio or anything. But for those of you that had the album, you definitely heard it. But yeah, good song.
It is indeed. All right, Have It All. I gotta say, I bought the album. I had the CD 20 years ago or something like that, but I bought the album just to have it. And man, I did not make it past the A side very much because it's 4 sides in essence, and the first 3 songs kept my attention pretty well. And I'm not gonna lie, I would sometimes just listen to the first 2 just to get to Have It All. I wouldn't skip them because they're that good, but what a fun, like, yeah, it's a good song, but man, it's just a fun song. The guitar in it in the beginning,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about it, but man, it just makes me happy.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I guess this is considered their fourth single, after the other
Yeah, yeah.
ones. But again, without listening to this album, I don't really recall hearing it on the radio. I'm not sure if
No,
it
no,
was a
not that,
radio
not that
hit.
much. Don't remember hearing it on the radio either.
Yeah. There's a site, Foo Archive.
Nice,
They have like random
great
Foo
site
Fighters.
name.
Yeah, random Foo Fighters quotes, but Dave was mentioning this is basically just a song with a cool up tempo groove, and the chorus blows up into these really big and sweeping 3-part harmonies, and the end is the most rock thing we could possibly figure out. The end starts exploding until it's so chaotic, and then it just stops on a dime. So I
I
don't.
wish I wish we could play these on the podcast. Like I wish we
Oh
could
yeah,
play parts of the songs because I wanna read that quote while listening to the end of the song, which
yeah.
I'm probably gonna do right after we get off of this. I'm gonna go listen to that song and read that quote at the same time.
Oh, for
The
sure.
most rock thing we could do.
Yeah, this song it's a little different than the previous song. Like Low was just straight up, just like hard and heavy. This one, it does have that cool up tempo groove.
It's one of
So
those ones you can like bump your shoulders to, like do 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 do. That's what I just kept thinking of.
yeah, just bob your head. But yeah, a good one. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I had to flip over to the other side because of the next song, though. Side B, track
Oh
one.
man,
Just like, I think, I mean, there's classic Foo Fighters songs and there's great Foo Fighters songs, but this has to be one of the most recognizable songs the Foo Fighters have ever done, I
oh
think.
yeah. Track
And
4, Times
and
Like
it
These.
and it really it appeals. Yeah, sorry, I should have said that first. Times like these.
Say it now then. Okay, there we go.
Times like these, it's like I think what makes this song so great and what makes it so popular, I think too, is it appeals to Foo Fighters fans, but it also appeals to everybody else.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not like
Yeah.
Low where it hits hard. It's not like All My Life where it like, starts out and then hits heavy and then ends crazy or it's not the most rock thing they could do.
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, it just appeals to such a wide range.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just this last week, I was listening to K Rock, and they like who we are, and they play like 3 little clips of different songs, and one of them was Times Like These. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
how
Yeah.
do we, in 3 songs just played for 2 seconds each, how do we let people know who we are? And yeah, I just thought like, wow, they played Times Like These. How awesome is that?
Yeah. In terms of like Foo Fighters popularity songs, I feel like this is definitely among the most popular of their songs
Yeah, for sure.
in a general sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when they play this, and of course they will play this at the concert we go to.
Absolutely.
I feel like
Absolutely.
this is definitely one that like everyone's gonna be singing along to. There's always like the songs where like people are standing, and then there's some songs like half the audience sits down because it's like, oh, I'm not as familiar with this, but everyone's gonna be standing, everyone's gonna be singing for this. So
Yeah, and everyone's gonna have their lighters or their phone lights on and
yeah,
waving them back and forth.
yeah. And going back to talking about the history of the band, the tumultuous, recording experience, and then them getting back together. It says, Dave Grohl, he channeled those emotions from the hiatus into the lyrics.
Yeah.
Times Like These, it was basically written about the band disappearing for those 2 or 3 months and me feeling like I wasn't entirely myself, Grohl explained in the Back and Forth documentary. I just thought, okay, I'm not done being in the band. I don't know if they are, but I'm not. And
And that's where I got that opinion from where like it's times like these you learn to live again. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like we're not done. Like it's times like these that you learn to appreciate what you have. So everyone, when they all, in essence, split apart, I wouldn't call it quite a full blown divorce, but when they separated, um, this distance makes the heart grow fonder. Like, again, a cheesy quote, but it applies here because it's times like those that you learn to love. It's times like those that you learn to love what you have. And, sometimes it takes losing it in order to appreciate it. And I think that is so beautifully laid out in this song. And
Yeah.
I think that's why it's such a great Foo Fighters song, because it's not like Learn to Fly where he just wants to be a pilot. There's actual like deep meaning to this song. And it's kind of the story of the album in one song, you know what I mean? Or the story of the past year of the Foo Fighters in one song.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned cheesy quotes, but I'll join in too. But it really is like, turning lemons to lemonade. Really
There
just
you
like,
go.
yeah, I'm in this too. But
we're in this together.
Yeah. But really, it's like, the hardships they went through, and it's like, we're not just enduring it, we're gonna rise above it. And like, it really turned into, or just the fact that they made this amazing song and had that meaning behind it. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, anytime there's a meaning behind a song, not always, I guess, but when you get someone like Dave Grohl who like he's so emotional about his music, and so what's the right word, man? He just I guess he puts his heart into every performance. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so like when that happens and you're recording live and you do something like this, it's like he put everything behind the song. So you not only do you feel that in the song, but the lyrics also spell it out. Put those two together. That's why it's one of the most popular Foo Fighter songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and speaking of like the emotional aspect of it, when they played this song at the Taylor Hawkins tribute.
Oh my gosh!
If you guys haven't seen that, YouTube, Foo Fighters, Taylor Hawkins tribute, times like these, and like during it, he just broke down. He's singing part of it. Times like these, you learn to live again. Times like these, you give and give again. And he paused. He got all choked up. Didn't sing for a while. And then
that's when the crowd popped in. Yeah.
Just started cheering him on, and
yeah.
Then he finished. Times like these, you learn to love again. But yeah, just seeing him get emotional like that is something else.
I think too the Hawkins scare when he OD'd too. I mean, I think that had a part to do with this. You learn to live again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure that had something to do with the tumultuous times and part of the arguments that they had, and it sure didn't help the situation. So that's part of I think that's part of the emotion behind the song as well.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if you knew this, but there are 3 different versions, music videos for this song.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. So one of them is directed by Liam Lynch. Does that name ring a bell to you?
No, Liam Neeson does.
Liam Lynch happens to sing the song My United States of Whatever.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that song's so good.
Yes.
Wow.
For those of you that haven't heard that song, go listen to that. Liam Lynch, My United States.
For those of you who haven't heard that song yet, I just have to say I have an extreme amount of jealousy that you get to go now hear that song for the first time.
And just really soak up its awesomeness.
And before you think we're at all joking, we're not. It is a very serious song. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, very deep.
Very deep behind the meanings. Officer Leroy walks up. He's like, "Well, I thought I told you." Yeah, whatever. Oh, that's so good, dude.
Yeah. But
I did not know that connection, and I'm so glad that I do now, because it just makes me like that song and that video even more.
Oh yeah. So in this music video, it's kind of a change. It's not one of the comedic videos or anything. They're just playing as a band. There's like, psychedelic backgrounds coming in and out. At the end, we find out, or they show the band just playing in front of a green screen. I guess they wanted to include that. But apparently, this was more, I guess it was deemed like the UK version, which is interesting because like that's the version, like when you go on YouTube and just type in times like these, like that's the first one that shows up. So found that interesting.
That is interesting.
But yeah, then they filmed a US version. This was shot on the Rainbow Bridge in Victorville, California.
Nice.
Yeah, the bridge, they're playing down below, just on the ground, and it's interesting. People start walking towards the bridge and throwing various things, appliances, not at the Foo Fighters, but just like down behind where they're playing.
Yeah.
And like their appliances are hitting the ground. They then throw down cars, and there's like smoke and fire. And then at the very end, a house. So that was interesting. The house actually lands on them, but the band is safe. They like
Thank you for clarifying. I would have been worried.
yes. Well, they somehow, go through the house and they're still playing in the house, and then like the walls fall down and they're still playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was interesting. I'm guessing I don't know, just everyone throwing off their stuff, and looking at the lyrics. I'm the one that drives away. I'm a new day rising. Do I stay or run away and leave it all behind? I'm guessing they're trying to relate those actions to some of the lyrics. I don't know for sure, but interesting.
Or maybe they just wanted to throw a bunch of stuff off a bridge.
Yeah. Moral or the background of the movie: throw stuff at us. I don't know. It's
throw stuff.
Yeah.
If you see it in the street, just throw crap at us.
Yeah. And then I guess the third version, it's an acoustic version.
Yes.
And I don't remember hearing this one too much. I feel like any acoustic.
I have heard this one. I like the acoustic version of this song. It's already like not a harder song, so having an acoustic version is kind of. But I don't know. A lot of people aren't fans of acoustic versions. I'm always a huge fan of acoustic versions. I don't think I've ever heard an acoustic version of a song that I've been like, yeah, I don't like that.
I mean, I feel like
with all bands, not just Foo Fighters, but I love acoustic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like anytime I heard an acoustic Foo Fighters on the radio, it was Of Everlong.
Yeah. Also a great acoustic version.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's definitely a big song in the Foo Fighters category or catalog.
Catalog, yeah, for sure, man. That's a big one. It's cool because it encapsulates the whole album, and it encapsulates the whole vibe of that year and the whole vibe of what we were going through at the time. And yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
good classic
for sure.
Next song. I just have to say, if I knew nothing else about this song besides the title was Disenchanted Lullaby, I would love this song. What a great song title. Disenchanted Lullaby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it starts out, well, when it does start out, I'm, initially thinking it's like, okay, is this gonna be like another, calm song like Aurora or Doll, something like that, but it's pretty different from those ones. It's more of a somber, like melancholy song. It's looking at the lyrics as well. It's I may be scattered, a little shattered, what doesn't matter. It's like, okay, it's a little more somber.
yeah
but
for sure.
still a good one though.
Yeah, I like it. I like this. I just couldn't get over the song title though. It's such a I don't know. When you see something like that, Disenchanted Lullaby, you're like, man, you just feel like this song, or do you feel like a song has a deeper meaning to it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's always tough talking about the song after we talk about one of their hits, like Times Like These.
Oh, I know, right? It's like, how do you go from talking about one of the greatest Foo Fighters songs of all time to like, and the next song is pretty good.
Right, yeah. It's good. I liked it.
Okay. Next.
But even though we joke about that, I think I am done with that.
I know, right? It's kind of interesting, and I read this somewhere, and I don't know if it's true or not, but somewhere down the line, Foo Fighters were not happy with the way this album turned out. Maybe not as a whole. They liked see, you read so much stuff online, and there's only so much of it that's true. I read somewhere, and it's not backed up by any source, so I'm not 100% sure. Someone just said, Dave Grohl said it, that, or maybe it was the producer that said it, that they wrote 4 good songs because they wrote this album to be like a rock show. You know what I mean? They wanted more songs that they could rock on stage, and they said we ultimately wrote 4 songs we really like, and the other 7 are just kind of like there, and we never played them again, type thing.
Yeah.
Which isn't that far from the truth if you look at their playlist in the shows, but I don't know, that was just the thought after Times Like These, like it's like, and then the rest of their songs.
Right, yeah.
But they're good. Either way, they're good. I just wanted to bring that up before I forgot that they had mentioned that somewhere along the line they were not as happy with this album the way it turned out after like the first few songs.
Yeah. Well, and even like with concerts, it's like even if they were all good, it's like,
yeah, you can't play them all for sure.
Yeah, when you have 10 plus albums, it's like, how do you choose? So it's kind of good to have some good hits, but then songs that maybe you don't like as much. Make the song selection a little easier on you.
Yeah. And what was interesting, I'll bring this up because I forgot to bring this up earlier. As we get into the second half of the CD or the album, when it first came out, it wasn't. There was a lot of critics of this album when it first came out. Maybe not a lot. Don't get me wrong. It won Album of the Year, Best Rock Album, but there was a lot of people that were like, it just didn't feel like the Foo Fighters, which was interesting. A lot of people weren't satisfied or thought it wasn't classic Foo Fighters. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people loved it, but there was it wasn't as critically acclaimed, I guess, as the previous one. But it was. Yeah. I mean, the people loved it, but there's often disconnect between critics and people. But either way, I just thought that was interesting. It was the same thing we were just saying. Like, there's a few good songs, and because even at one point, someone, I think it was a producer, told Dave Grohl, stop trying to write hit songs and go write Foo Fighters songs.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on, Tired of You.
Tired of You. So this one has a guest appearance by Queen's lead guitarist and backup vocalist Brian May.
Also, the only song that they kept from the original recording, because
that's right.
Probably because of that very fact.
Yeah, I wonder if they're like, oh shoot, we can't like take this one out.
Let's the whole album, dude.
Yeah. Brian May's in this one. Just keep this one.
Yeah. We cannot disrespect Prince's guitarist like this.
Yeah, I mean, Queen. I was expecting some Bohemian Rhapsody in the middle. Just play a little bit of that,
Yeah, I know,
just
right?
Throw that in.
That's funny, man.
Do you have a favorite Queen song? Yeah, even though we're talking about
Rhapsody.
Okay, good.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Da, 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 easy come, easy go. I won't sing the whole song for you guys. Sorry.
Thank you.
Anyway,
but yeah, still a good song though.
Yeah, it is. And it's cool though. It's cool that they didn't scrap all the songs. You know what I mean? I'm glad they at least kept one, so it's not like a complete waste of $1 million.
Right. Well, and some not all of them were completely scrapped. Some they
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. And a lot of
some
them
were
were released later on.
Yeah, some were just like re-recorded. It's like maybe they just like, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
changed a little bit here and there, but
yeah, yeah.
or yeah, some were new though. But yeah, still crazy to think about the $1 million. Let's scrap
The
this
$1
record.
million production that was like, okay, we're not doing it like this. Let's
Yeah.
figure out another way. Anyway, Halo is the next one.
Let me see your halo.
Not that Halo, different song.
Oh, my bad. Well, shoot,
You're getting confused with your other artist here. That is not Foo Fighters.
those were the only notes I had for this song. So
let me see your Halo.
No. Shout out to Beyonce. Beyonce, you're welcome on the show too if you want. So no, back to the that Foo Archive website, and I don't know for sure where they're getting these quotes, but we'll just quote their website anyway. Dave says the groove reminds me of Tom Petty, the middle section reminds me of Cheap Trick, the chorus kind of reminds me of Guided by Voices with the melodic kind of walk down the street rhythm, something like that. It's a great driving song. It also reminds me of My Poor Brain from our second record, but it's way beyond that. So,
nice.
Yeah. What I found interesting though, and yeah, I could kind of hear it while listening to it when he says the groove reminds me of Tom Petty. For those of you that may not know, after Dave was the drummer in Nirvana and Kurt Cobain passed away, Tom Petty actually invited Dave to be his drummer. Well, first they played Saturday Night Live, and he kind of had that open invitation for Dave to join the band. So I know Dave had like a lot of respect for Tom Petty. So the fact that he had a song kind of maybe not the exact same sound, but a familiarity with him. I thought that was pretty cool.
That is.
But cool. Yeah, I could totally see that Tom Petty vibes in this song. So,
nice.
I mean, it's still up there. It's up there with Beyonce's Halo for sure.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, Lonely as You.
Lonely as You. I kind of like that it like starts out kind of calm, just Dave.
Yeah. It's when they do that a lot. They do that like, hey, we're gonna chill out for a second. Just kidding. We're gonna go crazy now.
Yeah. It picks up. I would give this song maybe like the most underrated award for songs on the album. Like it's not one of their big hits, but it's one I like.
I like it. I like this song a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fact I really like those songs. Of course, All My Life is on my Mount Rushmore, and it's one of those songs that starts out and then gets heavy. But this one starts out like the lyrics are relaxed and then it goes real hard in the end.
Yeah.
Or not in the end, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So I'll give
But yeah, I like that. I like that. Most underrated song on the album. I would agree with that because it's a good song.
Yeah. I'm guessing many, well, no, not many, but like those that aren't, avid Foo Fighters fans haven't heard this one. And I'd recommend you check it out. So it's a good one.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Overdrive. It's funny that it's called Overdrive because when I listen to this song, I feel like I'm watching either I'm driving somewhere, like it's road trip music, or it's like the end credit scene where that car's driving off into the distance to go fulfill their dreams and goals and do whatever they're gonna do, and the credits start rolling as just the driving away scene. I feel like this song belongs on a credit roll scene where there's a car driving away.
Nice.
That's the whole vibe I got while watching this or listening to this song. Every time I listen to it, I see like the end of Good Will Hunting where he's driving off to California to become a super genius and be with the girl, you know what I mean? And that's the vibe I get from this song. It's a good song. I like it.
Yeah. Apparently Dave said this is our one up-tempo punk pop song on the record. The
Nice.
rest of them aren't like that. But this is one song you'd hear and say, "Oh yeah, dude, that's the Foo Fighters," which is
Oh yeah,
funny
dude.
because when I was listening to it, I'm like, "What song does this sound like?" And it's just funny hearing Dave say, "Oh yeah, that's the Foo Fighters," and maybe it was just that. It's like I don't
That's
know if it
perfect.
sounds like something, but I was like, "Yeah, it does sound like Foo Fighters."
Yeah. Oh
It
yeah, that's
almost
Foo Fighters.
it almost gives me Breakout vibes. Uh, Breakout on "There's Nothing Left to Lose."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe not like right at the intro, but like I think it was like 45 seconds or a minute into the song. I was like, yeah, these are kind of similar. They're kind of like, I don't know, this album's version of Breakout or something. But
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, good song. I like this song
mhm.
for sure. All right. Last
Track.
two.
Oh man,
Fourth side of the album.
fourth.
Just kidding. It's Burn Away.
Burn Away. I do feel bad because like towards the and you mentioned this too. I don't I feel like when you get to the end, it's kind of like away from the big hits. I'm wondering,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't have like a strong connection to Burn Away. I almost feel like
Dude,
next
same.
album, I want to start from the end and listen
I was,
back to the song.
dude, no joke. I was thinking the same thing because I was like, I need to start with the last songs and go because I didn't make it. Because, like I said, I bought the album to listen to it and to give it the classic feel of an album. Because don't get me wrong, it's a great album all through and through. But I made it to the D side of the album so few times because of how great the first three sides were that like
Yeah,
finally like when I'm over the last two songs I'm like okay these are cool but like I'm gonna go listen to Have It All again.
yeah. This Burn Away though, it's like a heavy love song. Like lyrically,
That's a
it's like
great
a
way to describe it.
yeah, it's like a love song, but it's still got the heavy instruments
Yeah.
and kind of reminds me of Soft Cell, Tainted Love. It's funny because it's like a total 80s like dance song, but it's like you listen to the lyrics like, oh, it's a breakup song. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
two different things you wouldn't expect together. I'd say like Burn Away is kind of like that as well. It's like
Oh yeah.
it's a hard rock song, but it's a love song. It's like, oh, okay, there you go.
For sure.
But, yeah,
All right, last one. Come back.
last one.
Last but not the least in length.
You got that right.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I listened to this song, I thought it was over, and I kind of tuned it out a little bit. And then it comes back on, like, because it's so like the music's kind of like sporadic there in the middle of it, and then it comes back on. I'm like, oh wait, is this song still on? How long's it been?
Yeah.
Did I fall asleep?
It's yeah, the more I listen to it, the more I like it. The
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's
intro,
a good song.
yeah, the intro kind of gave me vibes of Bush and the song Glycerine. I was like,
Yes.
this has Bush vibes right here.
Yes. Now that
Uh,
I didn't think of that, but now that you say it, I'm totally like, yeah, that's for sure.
yeah. And then at like 3.5 minutes, it transitions to more of just like that acoustic sound,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
just the guitar, and then like picks back up a little more. I almost got like Tool vibes during that part. I was kind of like, okay, not quite, but
Yeah.
but maybe they were trying to go for Tool, not just the sound, but the length of the song as well.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You're absolutely right. Maybe that's what gave you the Tool vibes about it. You'd be like, oh my gosh, the same song still on?
Yeah,
Is Maynard somewhere close by?
yeah. Am I listening to Tool or something? It's like, oh yes, this song is Tool. No.
That's funny.
But yeah, and then back at like 6 minutes into the song, it like gets heavy again. And throughout the whole song, he's singing like that, "I will come back."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's yeah,
And then
it's
he
like,
came back at the end of the song. He came back. He was gone
oh
for
yeah,
a little while in the middle of it. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, I will come back.
I will be back soon.
Yeah,
Just
but
gonna
I
take a little
like,
water break.
yeah,
And that's it, man.
yeah.
that's the album.
Good album. It's got a different feel than the previous album, but it's
It
still
does, for sure.
still Foo Fighters, still worthy of the Rock Album of the Year award. I love that they can change it up like that and still be like, hey, we're still the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, man.
Kyle, you already did your guest reviewer.
Oh yes, your guest review, please.
Yes. Andrew, my son, 8 years old, he reviewed Times Like These. And Kyle, give me a thumbs up again if you can hear it. Let me
Will do.
Cool. All right, Andrew. So we just listened to Times Like These by the Foo Fighters on their album One by One. What is your first impression on the song?
I really liked it.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a pretty good song. Last podcast, we reviewed Learn to Fly. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, that one was pretty good. And by the way, who's ever listening to this, if you didn't watch our last one, you should watch it and then come back and watch this one.
Well said.
Yes.
Well said. What did you think compared to Learn to Fly? Like just another good song, or pretty different? Or?
If I had to rate them, I would do categories definitely.
Oh, nice. What kind of categories?
Just the stuff.
All right, cool. Any other impressions or any other thoughts on the song?
I noticed this in lots of songs, and this one is really good. So when the song first starts, there's an easy beat, dun, 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 and then it just the band just keeps adding to it more and more until there's so much noise, but it sounds so good. Wait, maybe I should have used the word noise. Noise is annoying. And
love it.
So and then they all there's all that sound, and then the lead singer starts singing.
Yeah, absolutely. So would you recommend this song to our listeners?
Yes, definitely.
Excellent.
You have to listen to it, or else my dreams will be crushed.
Well said. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, bye.
So please listen to that, everyone.
That was so good.
Yeah. Please listen to it. Otherwise, my son's dreams will be crushed. So don't let that happen.
Oh, man, that was so good.
Yeah.
I love that kid.
Yeah. He's a good boy.
I shouldn't say noise. Noise is annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hope
Anyway.
you all enjoyed those guest reviews.
Yes, for sure. It's we've been droning it on now for probably over an hour. So let's call it. But before we do, we'll be back in a couple weeks with Foo Fighters' 5th album, In Your Honor. Am I right? I'm right.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
In Your Honor. Same thing. We'll be talking about the next album, all the albums leading up to our show. Kurt, what else you got for us?
Yeah, I think you said it well. I mean, if you haven't checked out our previous podcast of There's Nothing Left to Lose, check that out. I mean, if you're more of a YouTube person, feel free we'll upload it onto the channel as well. Let's Rock Reviews. You can see our faces, you could see our fancy backgrounds, and see my music shirts. I'm wearing my Aquabat shirt right now, the little bat. Yep. Watching you. So but yeah, nice. hope you all enjoy. And we'll
all right
back.
Well, signing off until next time. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later.